if you don't know what you're doing, just say so.
Well, I do not know what I'm doing.
All right, then. So don't try to figure it out at my time.
Volume up?
No, I put the volume. Trying to figure it out at my time. The bass and treble is two controls underneath, under the volume.
Good.
Okay, so competition, right? Competition in the world. Describe competition in the world. One volume. No, sir. Nah. One. No.
That's the wire right there?
No.
Less trouble.
You hear it coming through?
Yeah, it's less trouble than what it was before.
Turn the volume up a little bit. Just the volume. Maybe. Yeah, that's probably better.
Okay.
Also, too, we're going to invest in that mic to plug into the
laptop.
Yeah. Because I was listening to Malak last night. The audio was too wild, but it would have been better. You know what I mean? It definitely would have been better. All right. So when I worry, I'm coming back with that question.
Sir.
Anybody else?
Sir. Is it lawful? What's like? I know it's not unlawful per se. No, it's not. Is it lawful to walk with your daughter down the aisle?
What aisle?
The aisle at a wedding.
Okay, so describe to me the wedding. Is a wedding lawful?
According to the scriptures, how we do a concert.
So how do we do
it? Precept.
All right. You ask a question. Hold for me, Ecclesiasticus chapter 32. Boy, I like to go to war with Ecclesiasticus. That's my shit right there. You to what block? You need one of them shots out?
I can use one.
Go ahead, get down.
Oh, one of those shots. Yeah. I thought you meant the back, what's it called?
Yeah, don't say that word though. I think he was about to say it. I was like, there's no way to explain that on a live stream. There's no way. Yeah, I can see tapes now. It'd be like, what is going on? See,
right. You know what I meant, the medicine.
Oh, man.
All right. Hold for me, Ecclesiasticus 32. I'm going to get another one from in the Apocrypha, all right? Anybody else who have questions, just type it in the chat, raise your hand. So what would be the lawful way of having a wedding?
If I may, sir, the man will go to the father of the sister, and then he would say that he's interested in his daughter, and then the father would, if he can refuse.
Okay, that's the art of getting a wife. That's the procedure for courting, right? A wedding is after all of that. You know what I mean?
Like, isn't it something with like?
It's in there. It's in there if you want to get through it. Okay. Oh, you already? Damn, you quick as shit, boy. It's not like
that, sir. So, is it something like with like the people are brought together and that brother, not while everybody's dead, but that brother and that sister go inside the tent and they do what they do. But like the people, like they have like a feast or something like that before, and that's as far as I go.
Okay, you're not looking at it. You're not looking at it from the point of it for what it is, right? Because he's saying wedding, your mind is twisting up around it. What is a wedding?
You married that sister, so in other words,
it's a ceremony.
It's a ceremony. The ceremony, sir.
It's a party act. That's all it is. A wedding is a party. Because of the Christian church, it done turn into she's coming. Dun, 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 because of that.
Right.
But a wedding is really a feast.
Right.
It's a party.
Okay.
There's nothing ceremonial in terms of like a procedure, like, wine in the biblical wedding. Remember, pull where Christ turned the water into the wine and read exactly what it says. All right.
John chapter 2, verse. Sorry, John, 2 John chapter 2, verse 1.
Go ahead.
And the third day there was a marriage in Cana of Galilee, and the mother of Yahushua was there. And both Yahushua was called and his disciples to the marriage. And when they wanted wine, the mother of Yahushua said unto him, they have no wine. Yahushua said unto her, woman, what have I to do with thee? Mine hour is not come yet. His mother said unto the servants, whatsoever he said unto you, do it. And there were set there 6 water pots of stone, after the manner of the purifying of the Jews, containing 2 or 3 firkins apiece. Yahushua said unto them, fill the water pots with water. And they filled them up to the brim. And he said unto them, draw out now, and bear unto the governor of the feast. And they bare it. And he said unto them, draw out now, and bear unto the governor of the feast.
Bear unto the governor of the feast, not the high holiday.
Right.
Not the ceremony.
Right.
Of the feast.
Okay.
It's a party. It's a party. It's, if you want to understand it, a baby shower. A baby shower is not a ceremony. It's not the priest coming, all right, everybody, let's face it, it's not that.
Right.
A baby shower is music and drinks for everybody except the woman. And the brothers, dominoes or something somewhere.
Right.
And the kids running around and the sisters all bringing whatever for the sister who is expecting.
Right.
And they're going, do the social custom of a release where, they do the thing with the balloons or something with the water for, the gender reveal. Okay. Right? So think like that. That's not ceremony.
Right.
That's turn up.
Right.
That's what a wedding is in Israel. A wedding is turn up. A wedding is just a celebration. It's a party.
Okay.
It's more so a party. So now, what aisle would he be walking her down?
In the church, sir.
Okay, but for us, they ain't that.
Right.
You get the point?
Right. If
anything, it might be something like how you would see the general would bless the marriage in front of everything. There'll be a time in the party where the only reason we here today is for these two. We see them together they courted for a year and they went through the ups and downs and blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Right. And that's it. And everybody just get them the blessings. Somebody might come. You see the reception part of the wedding. That is as close as what you would find culturally for us. Like if you ever been to a wedding reception, like that time it's just music and food and intermingling and all that shit. Right. That's really what this year was, a feast. But it's time now for the wine, meaning what? We gotta get some wine up in here, and it ain't, a wine carafe. Right. Which is more ceremonial because they're just pouring for the priest. Right. He said these big vases here, fill them up with water, meaning everybody gonna get a drink. Right. You get the point? So it's more so a feast. You told about you need another one?
No.
You sure? No. Let me know in a while.
What?
So it's not so much that it's unlawful. It's not our custom. Walking down the aisle. That's not our custom. There's no aisle to walk down. Right. You know what I mean? There's not that thing. There would be, she walking to meet him. She might be with the sisters and that time when somebody coming to toast or whatever, she might walk. And as she walking, people naturally form an aisle. Right. You get the point? Or she and the brother making their way out, and people there and clapping and tapping them on the shoulder, good job, back. Right. You know what I mean? If you're a Benjamin, somebody gonna hand you something to drink, so you know what I mean? Take that. You're gonna get that baby tonight. You know what I mean? So you get the point. It's don't think of it like how ESO stuff is. It's more this is a wedding is more a party, right? Because our stuff is not ceremonial. It's not, it's not a ritual,
right,
with us. You got the point? To what that?
Couple cards, sir.
No sweat. Warren, what you on was again? The competition.
Couple card.
Right. Okay. So now describe competition in the world.
Competition.
Well, that's before Ecclesiasticus 32, right?
Good. Is somebody just out trying to outdo the next.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're trying to win. You're trying to be number one. It can't be two number ones. So somebody has to win the contest, win the trophy, or be the one who gets to say, somebody, at the end of it, they're honored, basically.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And you want to know if that's lawful, if that's right?
If it's in the right spirit.
Okay. I got you.
Because now, when it comes to that, in the world, there's no limits to it. Meaning that, we could be competitive in anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the real quick, I understand competition is a good thing because it makes you do better. But my question is are there certain things that we should not compete in? Like something where you could say, you know what, this is not something that we should be competing in. We should,
Okay. There definitely is stuff you should not compete in. All right. Give me. Okay. First we hold on. Right. First, give me in Corinthians. Hold that one in Corinthians with 1 Corinthians 9:24. Hold that one for me. And then give me Exodus 22:16. That's where we'll go first, right? For one of the examples of something that something you should not compete in. All right. Also hold Romans 9:16. All right. Also hold Romans 9:16. All right. Okay, so give me the Exodus first.
So like in the book of Exodus chapter 20.
22:16.
22:16. Come. The book of Exodus chapter 22, verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife.
What is the operative word there? Or words? Bukwash?
Surely.
No. Not in this context, but there's something else before surely.
Entice or betrothed.
Not betrothed. That's the first main thing when you go to consider a sister. Right? Of course, hold on. Go ahead.
And lie with her.
Okay, that's after. But you first go up to her, you want to ask what?
Entice.
Okay, but before to entice her, you had to go talk to her, right? As you go to and talk to her, right? For some of you are a little raw. You'll be like, damn, you'll start spitting the game. As you go talk to her, what's the first thing you're asking her?
Shalom, you got a man? You single?
You're asking her if she's single.
God.
After you ask her if she's married or not, which is what single is in layman's terms. What are you asking her? So you're not with nobody, you don't have no friends, and then she'll be like, well, I am
seeing somebody.
Talking to somebody.
Yeah,
it's complicated.
That's betrothed. She's betrothed. Somebody's already talking to her.
Right.
At that point, if you're not a dummy, what would you do?
Go your way.
You go your way.
Right.
That's the spirit of brotherhood.
Okay.
Because now you just meet somebody, even if it was yesterday, don't put effort in there. You don't put effort behind it. If she says, yes, I'm talking to somebody already, she's entertaining him.
Right.
What are you trying to do?
Right.
Show her who's what? The better man?
Right. God.
You should stay away from that shit.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, you should stay away from that shit. So like, I come up slightly different than the truth. I don't care. If I walk in a room and in her mind, it's a decision between me and somebody else, please go with the other brother.
Yeah, God.
Please. If in her mind is, well, he is so-and-so, but he is so-and-so. See, Meshach is so-and-so, but he is so. Just go ahead. I'm horrible. You see all that stuff, all that, you this and you that, but he says, what you see in his faults. I'm absolutely horrible. Go be with that, bro.
Yeah, that's right.
If it's not clear in your mind, I'm the best nigga in your room, keep going.
That's right.
Keep moving.
That's right.
I'm not playing jumping through hoops for you.
Right.
Why? I'm not doing that.
Right.
You understand? You walk in a room, brother, and she had to be like, good night. Who is that? Just like you
Right. Exactly.
would walk in the room and you see her across, you be like, chill. You get the point?
Yeah.
You don't want to get into no competition with a brother over a brother.
That's right.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, God.
It's stupid. And it's putting her in a position she's not built for.
Right.
You understand? She's not built for that. You get the point?
Oh, God.
You should never get into that competition. And it goes the other way with sisters. Sisters should never get into that competition either. Why? It's more obvious with women.
You mean with other sisters?
Yeah, meaning like if the script was flipped and the brother was the one
God.
and he having two suitors versus she's the one having two suitors.
God,
The brother is the one and there's one sister and another sister, and why should she never get into that, competition or spirit of competition?
Because a man can have more than one woman.
He could have both of y'all without y'all doing anything.
Exactly. God,
Because in the spirit of competition with sisters, their main objectives is tear the other one down.
It's to make that's the spirit of competition in the world. In the world, the spirit of competition is to destroy the opposition so that you can win. Not necessarily that you are a winner. Not necessarily that you're faster or stronger.
Right.
But I need to tear this one down so I could go. You get what I'm saying?
It's like if our man was just said was so heavy, the spirit of Esau is like that. He's not over us because he's better than us. He's over us because the Lord's put him over us, but he has hindered us from being.
Because he knows if we stand up,
right,
he's no longer in charge.
Right.
So of course he has to tear us down.
Exactly.
He has to move the goal line. If you'll watch Commander YAHANNA live stream on Saturday, he played a tape from 10 years ago at the Glenn Beck rally in DC where this reporter came up and said, I've been here all day and I've seen a lot of people talk and y'all make no sense. He's like, how could you say America is not separate and racist if you keep moving the goal line?
Right.
If as soon as the people gather themselves and say, okay, we're going to come together and meet this standard,
right, then
you say, oh, no, the goal line is over here.
Right.
And you keep moving it, it's not going to happen. And that's what they do with us. And that's the spirit we have in the world. So that's one example. Never get into a competition with a man over a woman.
Right.
There's more women than men naturally.
Right.
Right or wrong. Women outnumber men in every species by design. You don't, no disrespect to the sisters. You're special, but what I mean. Y'all is special. Y'all some bad bros. Give sisters a hand. Give them a hand. They're good. They're strong. They're good and strong. But you're not worth me fighting a brother for.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Not in this context. Not in this context. If it's a context where your life in danger, fine. But in this context, you're not worth me matching stride for stride and trying to outdo him. Right. Because after a while, the competition becomes outdoing him and not winning her.
Yeah.
So you win her, he leave, and now you find out you don't even know the bitch. You don't even know her. She don't even like half the shit you do. But in her mind, it's romantic to have two niggas fight over her.
Right.
Never do that. Never get into competition with that. So there's some competitions you should stay away from. Go ahead.
It's evident that the Most High loves Israel and hates everybody else, because in China, the men outnumber the women is like 100,000 to 1. In order for someone to get married they have to like have an application, have to have their resume, they have to post everything that they're good at, and then even then it's like chosen by committee. Like, okay, we'll choose a top 10, and now the top 10, come before this board.
Ecclesiasticus 41 as well. Because the Chinese are gay.
That's right.
No, men don't outnumber women in Moab by the Lord's design. They kill, they kill more female babies than men. So the Lord done gave them an abundance of that slanty-eyed box. But they don't know what to do with it, so they kill the woman. I think the East Indians is beginning to have that problem too. I think they begin to have that situation too, with too many daughters, right? And they sell them off in the south or kill the babies or some shit like that. So of course, over time, you start having more males in that society than females. You get the point? But that's not how life is. Because a man, he does not have a period. He doesn't have a time where he stops producing.
Right.
A woman has that time.
Right.
You get the point? So if you want life to go on, okay, let's say even by the Christian doctrine of one man, one woman, you know how long it'll take to populate the earth? You gotta wait a year before she can have another baby. When if I have 10 wives in a year, I can have 10 people.
Exactly.
You get the point? You get it? You understand what I'm saying? It's just it's ridiculous how they think of it. So there's more than one woman, but there's more women than men. It doesn't make sense fighting a brother for this one. That's that's not the. It's borderline gay.
Yeah.
It's really to fight a man for this woman it's gay. Yeah, it's gay. What's he gonna do? He got this car, so I go get this car. He take out 3 times, I'm gonna take out 4. Like your whole thing is based on him.
Right.
When the whole thing with you and this broad had to be you establishing your standard, you establishing your authority.
That's right.
And she decided to submit to your authority.
Right.
And that's it.
The lucky Tuesday was saying it's heavy because, like, in the midst of a brother going back and forth and the brother trying to win the sister over, instead of them focusing on, their brotherhood, they don't even see like that's destroying that sister, because this sister is liking it. She's egging it on.
You're right. She ain't built for that.
Yeah, but they say she gonna.
She's not built for that. She's a weaker vessel. And furthermore, she is not the one who decides.
Right.
The decision is made by the man who's gonna marry her and the father. That's it. You wanna, you don't wanna enter into that situation.
Right.
She talking to somebody, but it's not serious. Ain't no sweat. Says I'm serious. I'm a serious type of dude.
Right.
You get the point? If this brother talking to you is not serious, what make me think you're gonna take me serious?
Exactly.
Yeah. Go ahead, sis. Enjoy your time with your brother. I hope he marries you. Say something like that.
Right.
I hope he marries you.
Right.
Because she does not intend to marry that brother. You understand? If she could say to you, a perfect stranger, it's not serious. She has no intention of it. You tell her, yeah, I hope you get married to him.
Right.
You deserve him.
Right.
You get the point? You don't ever want to get into that type of competition. Stay away from that situation. What's another type of competition you should not get into? You should see it and not get into it.
So if I may, there's this thing where I notice sometimes brothers might start getting into a competition about how worse they were in like the things they did in the world. Like,
that's a good example. I didn't think about that.
like, man, I sold this. I was pushing pounds. Like, man, I was pushing keys. Nigga. Like,
It's okay. That there, if you have that type of conversation, like, okay, I did this before, yeah, but I used to sell this, or I used to move this, or I had this amount of bodies, or that.
Right.
That person's still in the world. And that's the end all and be all of that.
God.
That person is still, you know, in the world. Now, if you're using it for edification purpose,
right?
Like you saying, you know, before I came into the truth, I did this and that, and this happened, and the Lord, you know what I mean?
Right.
You're using it to educate somebody. That's different. But if we just trading, you know, war stories, not even trading it. Trading stories is still edification. It's still something there where, man, I used to do this and we got jammed up, man. Shit, that was wild.
Right.
Done.
Right.
But when you now get into the whole, well, my old man was more gangster than you.
Yeah.
My old man had sex with 100. How much your old man had sex with?
Right.
Brother, what are we talking about?
Right.
There's two still in the world. They're very young. Just young in spirit. It's a foolish conversation to have. You get the point? And that there, I believe, is unlawful too. Give me James 3.
So, like, so you saw that Romans?
Yeah. That Romans is the end all and be all of competition. Yeah, man. That's it. Give me James. Hold on. Is it 3? Might be wrong, man. Might be 2. Hold on. Bear with me. Give me James 3 and 13.
James chapter 3, verse 13. Who is a wise man and endued with knowledge among you?
Mm-hmm.
Let him show out of a good conversation his works.
Okay. Yeah, I think this is hold on. No, the whole of James is straight brotherhood in the same spirit. Read it again.
James chapter 3, verse 13. Who is a wise man and endued with knowledge among you? Let him show out of a good conversation his works with meekness of wisdom.
Right? A wise man would show out of the conversation his works, out of good conversation his works with meekness and with wisdom. That's what I was talking about. Well, now if you had to make a reference to something, you doing it with wisdom,
right?
In a humble way. When I say in a humble way, meaning, what does that mean? In this context. Because of course, with the truth, you can't be humble with the truth. The truth is bold and powerful. But in this context, what does that mean?
It's like if I may, sir, you're not trying to one up the brother. You just.
Okay, but this is talking about read it one more time.
Who is a wise man? And
you're right, but forget the brother for now. Just go ahead.
Who is a wise man and endued with knowledge among you? Let him show out of a good conversation his works with meekness of wisdom.
All right.
Is it that he's not boasting about the things that he's done?
You're not puffing up. You're not proud about this.
Sir.
You understand? You're not bringing it across like that.
Right.
You're bringing it across for the purpose of, educating somebody with wisdom. You understand? Most wisdom will tell you, I should not say this.
Right.
You understand? I shouldn't even tell this brother about this. One, he might be too young to hear it. To what end?
Right.
What's the real reason I'm talking about all of this? If it doesn't benefit, it's an idle conversation. It's a foolish conversation.
Right.
You get the point? And that's okay, especially in the truth. you're going to get to that level where the conversations you have, you choose to have them. You're going to get to that point. You're going to be in the room with high-ranking men and you're going to think it's antisocial. No, they're just choosing not to talk about anything right now because you're too young. You're too young to hear this conversation. You get the point? You're just not ready for this type of talk. Yes, and they'll talk about other things and it'll be for a brief time and then they're out. All right? They're out. And it's with good reason. But you don't want to now start to talk about your old stuff in a boastful way, in a, there's nothing to boast about. There's nothing to be proud about. You know what I mean? Using the word at one time. Right. We all will. What was so special about you? You get the point? Go ahead.
Sir. Verse 14. But if ye have bitter envying and strife in your hearts, glory not and lie not against the truth.
Go ahead. This
wisdom descendeth not from above, but is earthly, sensual, devilish.
Right. Well, that's going into doctrine. Right. That's going into doctrines. The wisdom that did not come from the Lord, but is earthly and sensual and devilish. It's talking about doctrines that you start listening to and you get caught up and you leave the truth because of it.
Right.
Yeah. Mark of the beast. One wife, multiple wives. Give me something else.
Everybody can be saved, sir.
Everybody can be. God loves everybody like that. I'm not restoring mine.
Right.
I read it come. Listen, I closed it off there. I was like, I see why Esau don't respect ball players.
Right.
Because he have all this money, all this power, and he told that brother, forget his name, what's his name? Tapasar. He told that officer, that's your problem. Y'all got too much hate. Y'all make Hebrew Israelites look bad. Motherfucker, you make us look bad.
Right.
Because you have the white man thinking we're all stupid just like you.
Right.
And you hold 7 foot of stupid, which is even more stupid and weak. You have the white man thinking we're all like that.
Right.
And we're not all like that. You get the point? Like he is the one, anyway, I saw that comment and he now fell victim to the sensual doctrine of the world.
Right.
You get me? He fell victim to that sensual doctrine of the world. Make sure you look first, all right? Because that's not the knowledge from the Lord.
Right.
That's not what comes from above. That's something else. You get the point? But from that conversation of what he did before and you're pumping it up and all that shit, SHALAM is the bitter envy and strife.
Right.
It might come across like, man, I used to do this back in the day, but it's really strife. It's really it's a pissing contest. You understand? That's what it really is.
Right.
Don't even get into that situation. All right. Now, once again, you want to read the context of it because sometimes the conversation could be two brothers who come into the truth together,
right? And
they're talking about the time before the truth. You can't get into that. You can't get involved in that. That's them talking about it,
right?
But if this is now just what I used to do and how Billy Badass I was and how many hoes did I violate and whatever. What's the purpose of you telling me this? You know what I mean?
Right.
Unless you come in now to say, man, I done changed now. You know what I mean? The truth done changed me. I don't do none of that mess no more. Right. Now, even followed by that, tell on.
Right.
You understand? Tell on. But there's nothing to be boastful about it. Paul never boasted about how he used to persecute the Jews. He spoke about it with shame. Humble. You get the point? He never was like, yeah, how much of them I locked up? Remember, I'm the one who held the coats that stole Stephen. He never said that. In fact, that's what they would charge Paul with wherever he went.
Right.
Think about it now.
Right.
Think about you in the truth, and you're going to speak, and man, you a murderer. You murdered my brother. So I said, you are a rapist. I remember you held me down 2 years ago and you raped me. Versus you talking about it, boasting.
Right.
You understand? It's a different spirit. You see what I'm saying? What is somebody trying to kill that person? When I say kill that person, meaning that old man.
Right.
And then the other one is trying to kind of live vicariously through memories, because this life in the truth is not as exciting as that life of sin you had before.
Right.
So if that's the mindset you have, or that's your conversation in that context, you might want to watch yourself.
Right.
Because you might be fantasizing about life outside the truth now.
Right.
And it's only a matter of time before that grass look way green.
Okay.
Before that ice look colder. That's the old nigga saying. That ice is colder than my own.
Okay.
It's only a matter of time before you know.
Okay.
I mean, I was, back then I was so-and-so and doing this. I was balling. I was, you know what I mean? It's only a matter of time. You understand? If this is not your first love, give me that too in your Revelation. Give me Revelation 2 and 6. Go ahead.
It's like I said, it's heavy what you're saying, because as you were saying, I was thinking about people who had to sacrifice a lot to come into the school. Now, as you're sacrificing a lot
2 and 4.
and,
Go ahead.
you're struggling, you start to remember all the money you used to get when you was not in school. You start to brag about that.
Yeah.
How demons could come up through that conversation.
Listen, in James here in chapter 2, it says, the tongue is a little member that kindleth a big fire. Watch what you say. Watch your goddamn mouth.
Right.
Watch your thoughts even more. That's why Christ raised the spirit understanding of the law when he said, you have heard if a man commits adultery, if a man, what he said?
Commits murder.
No, not the murder one.
Okay.
You heard that you must not commit adultery. But
Yeah.
I'm saying to you that if you even look at
If you even look at a woman
God.
to lust after her, you have committed adultery in your mind.
Right.
Which means what? Before YAHANNA, it was just, I better not have sex with her. But they sit in there like,
God.
like Matthew. Oh boy, Matthew sis. What when you ever hack with them? Boy. Pour any wine falling out all over. Because in your mind, you done tearing meat up.
Right.
And her husband standing right there. After YAHANNA came and said that, he checking you in your spirit. Because he know what's in your mind. How Christians say, God know my heart?
Right.
Yeah, your heart stink. It black.
Right.
That's what we used to say back in the island. Your heart black.
God.
You understand? Your heart black. Your mind dirty.
God.
Because now you lusting after this brother's woman. Eventually, that demon is going to find a way to make them thoughts justified.
God.
You start lusting after her enough, brother, you going to coincidentally go into the store the same time she's coming out crying. Sister so-and-so, what happened? That's not what the Christians do. What's going on, sister so-and-so?
Right.
I don't want to talk about it. Sis, I ain't leaving you like this. Well, it's Johnny. What did Johnny do? And before long, you comforting her. And then, what did we do? How did we get here?
Right.
Nigga, your thoughts.
Right.
That's how we got here. Your thoughts.
Okay.
You get the point?
God.
I
got Revelation 2
and 4. Give me Revelations 2 and 4.
Revelation chapter 2, verse 4. Nevertheless, I have somewhat against thee, because thou hast left thy first love.
Read it one more time.
Sir. Nevertheless, I have somewhat against thee, because thou hast left thy first love.
Right? Nevertheless, I have somewhat against thee, because thou hast left thy first love. What does that mean? Yeah, you had it, bro? You had it up or no?
Nah.
Okay, no, so I'll go move the brother. Ain't no, so I ain't forcing your time, sir. Go ahead, this.
The love of the Most High.
Break the whole scripture down, brother. Not pieces. Read it one more time.
Nevertheless, I have somewhat against thee, because thou hast left thy first love.
All right, what does it mean? What's that?
So this is the angel checking that school, and he's saying that they have left their first love, that first love being the truth that they have learned.
And what? And what they're doing now?
And they're basically mixing other doctrines in there.
they now starting to take on something else and love something else and value something else versus the thing that made them excited at first.
Right.
The thing that made them tell everybody Christ was black.
Right.
The thing, Nick Cannon forgot his first love in 2 weeks. Jews was black. The white man is a savage.
Right.
They have less melanin, so they don't have that compassion.
Right.
So they have fear of us melanated people.
Right.
Now you're telling a rabbi you sorry.
Right.
You understand? You just, it's a hope.
Yeah. Come.
You done left your first love. You get the point? That's it. It's you don't forgetting this thing here that made you realize your life before was filthy.
That's right.
And maybe you never thought that your life was filthy. Maybe you are a brother or a sister who grew up thinking that your shit don't stink, that you piss champagne and you fart perfume. Some people think like that. Some people don't ever look at themselves in the mirror and be like, why me? Why do I have to be this? Why I need to be somebody else? Somebody get up every day being full of sin and think they're the shit. And then they learn scriptures. So now they're the shit that talking the words of God. You understand? They never ever looked at that old man or woman like, you was filthy. You was disgusted. Because most of their sin was behind closed doors. But if you ever thought at one time that somebody would find out about that shit you ever did, you would carry yourself different. And you would carry the truth differently. You would carry it more in the spirit of brotherhood. You would be more humble. You would be way more patient. You would have a certain amount of strength that the world tells you not to have.
Right.
The world tells you, don't be nobody fool. Don't, it's a selfish way of reacting to certain things with black people, that you exercise full-on patience with devils, with heathens, right? Not just devils. We have heathens all around us, all kind of heathens.
Right.
The brothers in the islands, they're familiar with Elam and Moab. Elam and Moab, that's the heathens that run the Caribbean.
Right.
You get the point? Up here it would be I.S.U.P.K. You get me? So you don't want to go into that spirit of, I used to do this before, I used to do that before.
Right.
What was you? You was in church. You get the point? So now what? Because you used to run the street, it makes you more of a what than me now? What does that mean? Where does that come from? You get the point? On the same way, man, I was a lawyer in the last life. I was this, that, the other. And what you was? You was a little, you're a little hoodlum around the street. What does that make you? What? Who are you supposed to be? Doctor somebody? Does that matter with all your qualifications? Your people still in hell.
Right.
You understand? With all your gangbang, you're hustling and moving weight, your people still in hell.
Right.
So what is the bragging about? What are we boasting ourselves for? You get the point? So that's another competition you should not get into.
Right.
Let me get what scriptures I have holding now. Give me the Corinthians. Who are Corinthians? You are Corinthians too? Who are Corinthians, man? Yeah, what? Go ahead.
It's 1 Corinthians chapter 9 and 24. Know ye not that know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one runneth the prize. So run that.
Every time I hear the scripture, I be thinking about that song, that TK song.
Oh, yeah.
That would be the case. I don't know. It's always sticking in my head here. I don't know. Every time I hear the scriptures. Yeah, go ahead. So now, you see it's in your head now, right? Every time I hear the run the race, I'll be like, the case. The case. From the race. Go ahead.
Know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize, so run that ye may obtain.
Okay, read it one more time how it should be read.
Come on. Know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize?
Mm-hmm.
So run, that ye may obtain.
Right? What is he saying there? Explain that to me.
It's like he's saying, whenever there are people running a race, don't you know there's only one person that can receive the prize?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to run a race, run it to win it.
Run it to win it. It should be a mentality.
Right.
If you're gonna get in the race, nigga, be all in.
That's right.
Don't participate. Don't run it just for participating. Run it to win it. Because then people in the world, it's one prize. It's one prize. The team that lose the NBA finals, are they happy? No, they're the second best team in the whole NBA. Are they happy?
Not last year.
LeBron cried over it. Yeah. Right? He sat and he cried when J.R. Smith took the ball and went.
Yes.
You get the point? He sat and he cried.
And in fact, the team that comes in second and who loses at the finals, they're probably more sad than somebody who didn't even make the playoffs because of the distance they went to.
They went to lose. That's it. That's it. Like you put all this effort out and you reach right here and you couldn't go no further.
Nice.
That's rough. That's rough. It's not. I grew up playing football, the world football, not the American football. The one where you actually use your feet, not soccer. I don't suck nothing. Football. And brother, I had a coach, brother, that always used to say, "I'd rather lose 10-0 than 1-0." Because if you lose by such a big margin, you know you have a ton of work to do. But when you lose 1-0, it's like, well, where did we go wrong? Now you got to go and watch over the whole tape and see every single mistake because it's so close. You could have won the game. And it's with some players, it's psychologically to come back from that. It's rough because you don't put all this effort. It's just, you know, what's a good example of it? A woman who, or some men who in a marriage and the shit don't work out.
Yeah,
That's it. I'm done. I'm done with black women.
Yeah.
Ain't no good men, so you go get a woman who have man parts. You get the point? It's because of you don't put so much in, but you didn't go all the way.
Right.
And when you look at it, it's not that you couldn't win, you could have win.
Exactly.
You just didn't do what you needed to do. That's just it. So he's saying those who run the race in the world, there's only one prize, there's only a first place, and that's it.
Right.
So if you're gonna run to win. Keep going.
Verse 25. And every man that striveth for mastery is temperate in all things.
Mm-hmm. Read that again.
Every man that striveth for mastery.
And every man
that striveth for mastery is temperate in all things.
What does that mean?
If I may, sir, a brother that's seeking to be perfect, like to perfect what he's doing, it's like he'll be good at everything, pretty much.
Look up temperate. Look up temperate. Temperate is an old blacksmith word.
So every man who strives, meaning who's fighting to
speak up, speak up.
So every man who's fighting to perfect something, he's gonna learn patience.
It is patience, but look up temperate. There is patience, but temperate is something else. It's a little bit more.
If I may, temperate, showing moderation or self-restraint.
Anything else?
It's relating to or denoting a region or climate characterized.
That's not. Anything else, Bukwash? Self-restraint is good. Self-restraint and patience is okay. So you have to look at the context of it. Patience is like you just waiting, right? You waiting, the Uber coming, you having a drink.
Right.
Self-restraint is I want to kill this person right here.
Right.
What's going on, brother? How you feeling? No, step back up. You get the point? Even though your fist is clenching without you thinking, because you want to murder this person in front of you.
Right.
You get the point? But No, brother, ain't no sweat, brother. You good. All right, just step back. You get the point? That's self-restraint. That's that. You get the point? Any more temperate?
I have marked by moderation, such as keeping or held within limits, not extreme or excessive.
Right, keeping or held within limits, not extreme or excessive, meaning you can't go beyond this limit. You're right in this little circle here, and you just working. You look up Google hot-tempered steel, cold-tempered steel. Look up Google cold-tempered steel and read what it says. Or tempered steel, anyone. I think it's cold.
Tempered steel is steel that's been treated with heat below its melting point, which is around 25,000 degrees Fahrenheit, and then cooled for the purpose of improving its physical properties. It's used to increase the strength, hardness, and roughness of steel.
That's where you want to go with temperate. All right? Self-restraint, the extreme. But if that process, it's you making this thing hot. Just below the melting point, meaning you're bringing it to the brink of melting, you put in water. Just to the point of break. And when you go into the science behind it, the rapid cooling pushes out because things expand when they heat up. When they cool, they contract. The rapid cooling, whatever in that steel that's not steel, gets squeezed out. And then they pull it out, wash it off, back in the fire. Just to the point of break, so they can't take no more, cool down. And whatever impurities remain as it cools and it collapses, all the molecules collapse, all the impurities get squeezed out. That's tempered. That's why I call it tempered steel. This is damn near pure steel. You get the point? It's strong. It could take, some jam. It's not going to break as easy. I think even in that, some of them, they get to the point of brittleness if they do it too much. But that's being temperate. I mean, you go into points, brother, that you never thought you could have gone before. You've been pushed to limits you never thought you could have been pushed to before. And you practicing self-restraint. Why? Apply to the life you're living now.
Because it's hardening you to make you better, for perfection.
Yes, it wasn't the answer I was looking for, but I'll take that. Right, you practicing self-restraint. Anybody else want to take a shot? You're practicing self-restraint because you don't want to be pushed. The human body likes what?
Pleasure.
Comfort. Comfort. Anybody play sports growing up? How many training sessions or practices you did where you had to run to the vomit?
All of them, pretty much.
Why? Why is the coach pushing you that far?
To get you out of your comfort zone.
More than that. That's the reason okay. I'm going to answer that after.
So that when it comes time for it to actually matter, you're not being pushed in. It's just like you mastered it. You've been hardened from.
Let me say, I know what you're saying. When it comes to when it really matters, which is game day, you have already exceeded game day limitations. So now you're really playing at 60%, which is physical fitness, mental fitness. But if when it's practice, you train until you just sweat. The team that's training till we vomit every session is going to run over you with ease. With consummate ease. Because they have done stretch their limits beyond you. You ever see even in American football, you ever see sometimes our wide receiver or running back, he just running. And men running and then they start slowing the stride because he fast, so we'll never catch him before the end zone. That nigga did not train till vomit. Because the nigga who did is going to run until that nigga is in the end zone. And then go do it again.
Right.
And then go do it again and again and again. Because his mentality is tempered for that sport. His body is tempered for that sport.
Right.
To run over and over the same time, the same speed, take them knocks and get up and just go again.
Right.
Another person mentally is like, man, you get the first knock, you wake up and the stadium spinning. He's like, man, coach, take me out. Flip side, one of them walk in here, the white man is the devil, yeah, the God gonna kill all these nations. His mind ain't stretched like that.
Right.
He was just with a white woman last night.
Right.
He was just with some Arab last night, like Kanye West. You get the point? His mind ain't stretched there, so this is not the place for me. I'm gone. You get the point? His mind is not there. You understand? You're going to have to be tempered or temperate. A man who's striving for mastery, read it again, is temperate. Go ahead.
Is temperate in all things.
In some things.
All things.
Just for class.
All things.
Just for camp.
All things.
This is a lifestyle.
Right.
You understand? This is a lifestyle.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Don't come to class and learn everything and then go into slavery and be a goddamn, pest.
Right.
Go there and show that the UPK is above everybody else. So that the boss asks, do you got more like you? Like LeBron up there in Detroit went to slavery. They were so impressed. LeBron get everybody in the whole camp as a slave.
Right.
And they're asking him for more than this.
Right.
Where's more like you? To the point where he's negotiating their wage in bulk. Go do that. Go do that. I'll be like, put me on the list. You get the point? Because of course he understands something. You get the point?
Right.
In all things, be temperate in all things. You're gonna be tried. You're gonna be tested. You're gonna be pushed to your breaking point. You ain't dead yet.
Right.
Old school coaches used to say that. Ron, you ain't gonna die. You're young. I could have never understand this shit. Nigga try to kill me, but it's true. You're young, you're not gonna die. Which youngster you ever heard died from running? Just die. He ran too much. No, that doesn't happen. It's either he have some kind of heart condition or lung condition, which they would know before.
Right.
But once you pass a physical, kids can run forever.
Right.
You can just run forever and not stop.
Yeah.
So go run in all things. Be temperate in all things.
Right.
Because you're striving for mastery. What is the mastery you're striving for in here? What are you competing for in here?
The crown of rulership.
True. There's something else on the topic though.
God's kingdom.
That's the crown. That's rulership. Something else.
The race.
Oh, it's right there. I was going to look for the precept. Go ahead. To win what, though? How do you get the crown? Is everybody getting a crown?
No, sir.
Who's getting a crown? How many?
Those that are dirt to the end.
How many?
144,000.
A crown for the rulership of the government. Right? You get the point? A crown for the rulership of the government. It's a nation of kings and priests.
Right.
But the rulership government is 144,000.
Right.
But we all going to be a nation of kings and priests. You get the point? But that crown we're talking about, the way Christ puts it on their head in vision, is the 144,000. What are you trying to win? I'll give it to you for time's sake. Control over yourself. That's the competition you should be in. You was a hell of a sinner.
God.
You were so good, Satan trying to get you to sin right now.
Right.
Satan is giving you every excuse to leave the truth because you was a hell of a sinner.
Right.
Me too. You was a hell of a sinner, boy. You was good at that shit, boy. Listen, we could sin so good. We could have a 40-hour job, a family, a wife, 2 women nobody know about,
right,
and still sin.
Yep.
Come in the truth.
Right.
and exceed that.
Come on.
How about we do that? How about we compete with, man, I do all this in, well, I made that company this, I did that. You know, how you come in here and you just run like a man on fire. You understand? You run like a man on fire. The mastery you're striving is to control this, which is the most important resource, flesh. You understand? You're able to control flesh, your own flesh, brother. You could take a city. You could control a city. If you can't control your flesh, you cannot control a city. You get the point? You can't do it. Keep reading.
Come on. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible.
Read nice and loud. Read it again.
Come on. Now they do obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible.
Right now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown. What does that mean?
Things that
Who's the they?
those in the world, sir.
Those that run the race. Remember, okay, in the context here, remember Paul, this is writing a letter to Corinth. What's big? What's the race that's big here? Think about who's ruling.
The Romans, sir.
So what's the race?
The actual race. The
Olympics. Think like that. You understand? This is Greece and Athens and that type of thing.
Right.
Those people, they're running for a corruptible crown.
Right.
In those days, they still do it now, but now you're getting a medal and some money. Those days, you're getting what? That wreath that they put on your head, like what Caesar would wear. They still do it now in some of them Olympics. They come and they put the wreath on your head and put the crown, or get the wreath in your hand. That thing is going to die in a week.
Right.
And you train so hard and ran till you vomit and pulled a muscle and ripped a muscle. Anybody ever tore a muscle? It's ridiculous pain. Ridiculous. Go ahead.
I was reading a book on Muhammad Ali, and he said when he threw his medal into the river, he said it wasn't even real gold.
Get the fuck out of here.
He said he tried to go to a diner, and they wouldn't allow him to eat there, and he was like, I just won this medal for this country, and everybody was so proud of me, but now I can't even eat in this diner. So him and his friend walked to a river, and he didn't tell his friend he was going to do it, and he just tossed it, and his friend jumped in the river to try to get it.
And it wasn't even really good.
All
that training, all that sweat, all that broken nose and busted up knuckles and stuff.
Right.
And it's corruptible.
Right.
It's done. You understand? Like, Ali till this day, I think is known more for his out of ring work than his in ring work. You know what I mean? It would go hand in hand. Which Muhammad Ali you talking about? The boxer? Oh yeah, isn't he the one that went to jail because he didn't want to? You get the point? So that the boxing was great, but you know they could talk about who's the greatest. If Floyd in his prime versus Ali or Tyson versus Ali. Nobody ever talks about who was the bigger activist. Right. Nobody ever talks about who stood up for their people more. Right. Floyd in his prime or Ali. That's there's no competition there.
Right.
That does not corrupt. That tape, you my oppressor, you the one who fights me in the streets when I want justice. Right. Not some yet. That tape does not corrupt.
Right.
That's a memory etched in people's brains more than any knockout or any fight or his record. You get the point? And that's just one man. You understand? So they that run a race run for a corruptible crown. We run for the incorruptible, which is rulership. You understand? We run for something that will not die.
Right.
It will not fade away. It will not ever get trumped. It will not ever pass. This would be etched in the annals of the history of Israel.
That's right.
You get the point? The work we do now to build the kingdom.
Right.
This would be the story of leaving the north. That's in the Bible. You know what I'm talking about, right? See, like how there's right now, what is the Most High known for as his greatest destruction?
The Passover to Egypt.
Egypt.
Right.
There's coming a time where he will not be known for that anymore. That's in the Bible. Jeremiah 16:16. All right. And then we come back to this and finish up the competition. Right?
Also, we got a couple questions online as well, sir.
I'm gonna try to get them. Okay.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 16, verse 16. Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill.
Hold on. I don't think that's a keep reading.
And from every hill, and out of the holes of the rocks. Verse 17.
Go ahead. Where we at? Hold on. It's Jeremiah, right?
Come on. Jeremiah chapter 23, sir.
Let me hear it.
Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 7. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that they shall no more say, the Lord liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country, and from all countries where I have driven them, and they shall dwell in their own land.
That's prophecy.
Right.
Isn't this called what? What's this land called?
North America, sir.
North America.
God.
He's going to be known as the one who took us out of the North country.
Right.
You get the point? There's another one, I believe. Hold on. This might be it. Maybe that's it. All right. So that what's coming is going to be forever. That you can't corrupt that, just like you can't corrupt what Moses did.
Right.
You get the point? You like till this day. That's what Moses did to Egypt was ridiculous. You get the point?
Right.
A time is coming when this is going to be what the Lord is known for.
Right.
This destruction, this this second coming. He's going to be known. It's going to be rewritten down here where it's going to surpass Egypt. Now we're talking about plagues.
Right.
We're talking about the firstborn. And we're talking about split in the Red Sea. This here, what he's about to do, is going to be worse than that.
Right.
It's going to be a show. It's going to be, he wants everybody to see. He wants everybody to see that, oh shit, you's not to be effed with. I see that. I see it. I understand it now. You get the point? That's an incorruptible crown. That's what we're striving for.
Right.
You understand? Let's go back to chapter 9.
So that scripture is saying basically, there have been many cases in the scriptures where after Egypt, where the Lord has delivered the children of Israel, but we still refer back to
Egypt as the main one. That's a good point, because of course, there's some idiots who would be like, it's not talking about that, it's talking about when he took us out to, Greece or Rome or Turkey or something, which is northern lands from where we are biblically in the scriptures.
Right.
But nobody don't talk about that deliverance like they talk about Egypt.
Right.
There's coming a time where he is going to be known more for taking us out of a northern country than Egypt.
Right.
If you could show me that in the scriptures now that is more powerful than the Passover, I'm ready to follow you. Right? That time ain't come yet, because this is the northern country he's talking about.
Right.
You get the point?
So is that a case where the Lord's basically saying, if you was impressed with that, watch this now.
Hold my beer. Hold my beer.
Right.
He's like, what? These niggas think that's all I had?
Right.
Nigga, let's practice. That's practice. What's about to go down in the earth ark is going to be horrible. It's going to be extremely horrible. You understand? Where we at? 1 Corinthians 9?
Verse 26.
Mm-hmm.
I therefore so run, not as uncertainly.
Nice and loud, please.
I therefore so run, not as uncertainly.
Make it a little louder.
I therefore so run, not as uncertainly, so fight I, not as one that beareth the air, that beateth the air.
I read again from the top.
I therefore so run, not as uncertainly.
Stop right there. What does that mean?
Like I run with purpose, with the focus.
Okay. Break it down some more. You're right.
Like there's a specific thing that I'm doing that I'm running for. So
Give me the metaphor. The metaphor is using somebody who's an athlete. When an athlete is running and practicing and preparing, how is he running?
He's running with the end in mind, whereas he's going to be crossing the finish line. His hand is going to be raised. He's going to be
okay. That part is they don't practice for that. They're practicing to reach the finish line first. So in practice, how are they running?
Harder, pushing themselves as hard as they possibly can.
They're pushing themselves. They're going full out, full out. You talk to any high level athlete, it's a ridiculous amount of dedication that goes into that 10 seconds. You know how long Usain Bolt had to train? For 9 seconds. All is not eating certain food. And don't forget, when you get close to competition time, you can't get no meat. You need that energy. For 9 seconds, Zach.
Right.
9, and it's all over. It's over in 9 seconds. You know how quick that is? But all them trainings for a whole month, all we're working on is starting. You gotta be around some track people to know what I'm talking about. In the winter, where you working on? Barack, where you was working out in the winter? Let me see if you're one of them high level athletes. Barack is one of them high level athletes. Barack probably was laying face down in the hallway of the university dorm. Go! And you had to get up and run. And guess what could happen while you're running down the hall? Somebody could just walk out the apartment. What are you gonna do? Do you care? No, you trying to win whatever. What's the pen relays? You trying to win pen relays. You doing that with the purpose of every step you taking now is going to make you win. So you're doing it with that purpose in mind. You're not doing it like, I don't know if I'm gonna win. I don't know if I'm good enough. You're doing it like, I better be good enough. You ain't even doing it like I am good enough.
Right.
You're doing it like, nigga, I better be good enough.
Too. Like that brings me back to when I was playing ball in college. And the coach would say like other schools, they would run like not just in the gym on the track, but they would run the campus. So what he would make us do is we would run to another campus and back because we were surrounded by other campuses.
Yeah.
We would run to another campus.
That's it.
Everybody else was just
don't be uncertain in that shit. Don't be halfway running and be like, why am I here? If you're asking yourself that, then you should probably leave the team. If at any point you asking yourself that, of course, in here, come and get some counsel because your experience in here is going to determine how you view things. So you get counsel. That's in the scriptures too. That's one of the scriptures I want to pull. All right, hold on. Give me Ecclesiastes 32 and 19.
Ecclesiasticus 32 and 19. Do nothing without advice, and has once done, repent not.
All right, do nothing without advice. And when you do it once, meaning I should have never done that shit, nigga. That's on you. You did it. That's you. Yeah, that's my shit, bro. I see you learning. I'm the phenomenal. You know what I mean? Like, do nothing without counsel. Do nothing without advice. If you're starting to get that, get some advice. You might find out that the advice is, brother, this is not for you. There's some purple faggots down the road. Right. You could. That might be the advice, though. But get the advice. It might save your life. Because you might go to camp one time and freeze when the Muslim pull the box cutter. Right. Or the KKK coming straight at you with the damn, the big square ugly boots they like to wear. You might freeze and be like, well, what am I doing here? You go ask yourself that in the ICU. You get the point? That's not the time to find yourself. Right. Find yourself now. If you need help, come get some help. Right. You get the point? Go ahead, Corinthians 9. Finish up 26.
That was verse 26, sir.
The middle of 26, quickly.
I therefore so run, not as uncertainly. So fight I, not as one that beateth the air.
What is he talking about here? Think about fighting as one that beat the air.
Eli Mesa, like when is it talking about shadow boxing? I mean, he's
Yes.
shadow boxing, but he's not thinking he's beating the air. He's shadow boxing as if he's fighting an opponent.
Right. He's saying, I fight not as one who beat in the air. Not the last part he said. Because the shadow boxing, he is thinking it's an opponent.
Right.
He watched enough tapes to know this man is heavily right-sided or he has southpaw. So he's shadow boxing, practicing how to have his shoulders to affect this southpaw in his mind.
Right.
Paul is saying, I don't run like somebody who is running that type of race.
Right.
I don't fight like a nigga who's beating the air. I go beyond that. Come on.
So, Lucky, when it says, so I fight not as one that beat the air, like, meaning it's not for nothing. It's not in vain. Like, you fight for something. It's extra.
Okay, meaning this race I'm running it hard. And I'm training every day for it. But I'm not training to retire after my 4th Olympic.
Right.
I'm not training to retire after I'm heavyweight champion of the world. I run not as this person. I fight not as one who beat in the air. I'm fighting, but my fight is not like Amari Stoudemire, who played basketball and did great things on the court. But now he has hate is too much. At one time, it was acceptable for you if you was playing for Pistol. Who you played for? Suns? Phoenix Suns.
And in New York.
Right, and what conference is that? That's what? West Coast. So it was good for him to hate the Lakers, right? So how come it's not good for me to hate the white man? And that's what he told you, brother? We filled with too much hate. That's why it makes us look bad. Imagine you playing for Phoenix Suns if you're Amari Stoudemire. And who's on his team back then? Charles Barkley?
Steve.
Imagine Steve Nash playing. And it's like, man, these Lakers, I love them. You're going to look at him like, nigga, what the hell is wrong with you? That's the competition. Yeah, but you got too much hate in your heart, Amari. You making us sons look bad. We ain't supposed to hate. What would Amari Stoudemire do? I think he was one of them fighting niggas too. I think he was Metal World Peace. What's his name? Ron Artest. There's a few of them niggas who's known in the NBA for clocking somebody. You understand? How the hell you gonna talk about hate, nigga? You played a sport where you was required to not love the opponent. I'm playing in the sport too, it's just I don't retire. I don't have a day off.
Right.
You get that. I don't. You have an off season. Right. You have, what's called the NBA off season when they play indoors? I forget. But they have that. Summer leagues and shit, they have that. Then you go to the Rockers in New York.
Right.
You understand? I don't have that shit. I have camp. Right. Until I die or Christ come back, whichever one. I don't have an expiration date on my love for my people or my no love for another nation. Go ahead.
And one of the reasons why LeBron gets so much hate is because he shows a lot of love to other teams as he's playing them, and that they're comparing him to Jordan when Jordan just straight hated everybody.
You have to what's he talking about? Right. If you're going to win and be the best, David said it perfectly. Do I not hate them that hate thee, O Lord? Right. I have a perfect hatred, Right. What's you talking about? So I'm supposed to love you? Goliath said to David, who is this stripling you bring here to fight me? You know what stripling is? Say it? It's to convey weakness, but a stripling is something. It's like bones. It's bone, but like imagine like tables, how they might start peeling. And a little piece, a strip. Yeah, he called David that thing because he was so young. A young brother, he ain't filled out yet. His shoulders ain't get wide, his face ain't get wide. He narrow because he's a young man. He's a young brother. He's like, you bring this stripling here to fight me? Right. David said to Goliath what? Not to Goliath, to the people who were scared to fight Goliath under Saul. You mean this uncircumcised fool gonna come and be a champion in Israel? There was no goddamn love or mutual respect. Right. And David won because of it. Right. So why should I listen to Amari Stoudemire about love?
Right.
You dumbass. So you love the cops that did that to George Floyd? Huh? That's who you love?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. You'll stop protesting. You're making us look bad. So the cop who hates George Floyd, is he not making the rest of the cops look bad? Why don't stop him from hating?
Right.
Isn't he everybody hate cops now because of these bad cops, right? They say what all cops are bad, there's no good cops, because the bad cops making the good cops look bad. Right. Why don't Amari Stoudemire go stop them bad cops and tell them, you hate too much, you're making them cops look bad.
Right.
Because you're a hypocrite, Stoudemire. You're 7 foot of hypocrisy.
That's right.
A huge ass hypocrite, which is worse than a short hypocrite. I'll take a short hypocrite any day. There's not much of you, but there's all of this hypocrisy.
Right.
Meaning you this tall, but your spirit is this small. Right. That's even worse.
Yeah,
it's even worse. Go play basketball with Dwayne Wade and his son daughter. his sorter. His sorter. Oh, it's done. You know what I mean? Go ahead, 27.
Verse 27. But I keep under my body and bring it into subjection.
What does that mean?
Meaning to have his spirit under have it under control.
What does it mean I keep under my body?
But I keep it in check.
Everybody understand that?
Come on.
You keep under your body. You keep right here. You checking yourself.
Right.
Bringing that into subjection. Keep reading.
Lest that by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway.
You understand?
Right.
Like that's where Paul was with it. Paul was like, I have to make sure that I don't take a day off in this thing. Meaning what? That now after I done put in all this work, now I'm gonna retire like Stoudemire. And now I don't ball no more. You understand?
Right.
Like that's the comparison he's making. Every athlete stops what they're doing.
Right.
And stops eating healthy and, whatever, and goes back to life. You ever see some of them athletes after? You remember Maurice Green?
No, that's
God
right.
damn, I show my age with that one.
Sean Kemp.
Who?
Sean Kemp.
What did he do after? I ain't familiar. But I know who he is, though.
He was a quote unquote freak of nature.
Of course he was a freak of nature.
And then when he left the league, he blew up.
What do you mean?
Like he was totally undisciplined. He had a bunch of kids. He was drinking. He was eating.
Having a bunch of kids is not undisciplined. What the fuck is he trying to say? What's he trying to say? Shit. I don't keep under my body when it comes to having kids. I want to talk to them.
It's like the
We just need some sons to balance the equation. So lucky. Go ahead. But I understand what you're saying. But the point is, every athlete they're done.
Right.
And after that, everything they stood for in life, all the Nike commercials with them running and the Gatorade and power up and take care of your body, that shit goes out the window once you retire. This a done deal. There's no retirement here.
Right.
This is for life.
Right.
You're going to do this. And you're going to find men to take your place. And you get older and you start managing shit. But your life still has to be what you taught. And that takes a lifetime of training. Training what you think. Training what you say. Training what you think but don't say. Training what you think but do. Training what you think and don't do. Training what you should not think. Which is a extreme. It's an extremely hard task to not think something. You and a brother living in an apartment. You can't find something after you tear your room up. What do you think?
He stole it.
You know how hard it is to not think that?
You can't, sir. Can't.
It's ridiculously hard to be like, let me look again.
Right.
Let me look again.
Right.
And then you find it months later, and it's right there where you didn't look. Get the point?
Okay.
It's hard to even not think things. Because that demon is with you for life.
Okay.
That demon is there trying to get you to doubt, trying to get you to think evil of your brother and sister. You get the point? It's trying to do it, and you're going to have to be like, whatever, Satan. Whatever.
Right.
Shut the fuck up. You get the point? You're going to have to go there with it. Or else, brother, you're gonna find yourself in a conversation in your head, and you think it's you battling Satan and it's two demons battling each other. He took it? Nah, he wouldn't do that. Nah, he might have took it. Nah, he wouldn't do it. You think you the one who's saying, nah, he wouldn't do that. No, it's another demon in there. Two of them having court in your head. You watching the court case, you don't even know what the hell going on. Go get counsel.
Right.
Go rid yourself of the demons and learn, have somebody think for you until you're trained enough to learn how to think yourself. You understand? Usually that person will tell you when that is. They'll be like, you got it, go ahead. Whatever decision you have, you good. You get the point? You don't need that. And that's why he's saying, I stay under my body. That's the mastery he's striving for. To perfect the flesh. To perfect that mind. That's the mastery he's striving for. Amari Stoudemire, he hasn't mastered anything but shooting a basketball.
Right.
So has Dwayne Wade.
Right.
Nick Cannon has only mastered how to be an entertainer. And to be an entertainer, you have to be apologetic in nature.
Right.
You have to. You have, because you need the people to want to come to see you.
Right.
If nobody don't want to see you, who you going to entertain? Yourself? Granny? Grandma? Who you going to entertain?
Right.
You're going to have to be apologetic. You're going to have to respect everybody's feelings. You get the point? This is not the place for that. This is mastery. This is, I am going to die today. F your God. Like what happened to Stephen. Stephen was cutting the piss out of them and that. You'll go read the story of Stephen. And brothers, they took their coats off, which means there's going to fight like, just take things like today.
Right.
Start taking the shit off.
Right.
They took their coats off and handed them to Paul to hold when his name was Saul. He was a young man. He held the coats of the men that stoned Stephen. And they picked up stones and stoned Stephen to death. And as Stephen was being stoned to death, he looked up into the heavens and saw the Most High and knew he did his job. Sometimes you have to say the truth even though you're going to die. He has to master his flesh. Does his flesh want to die? Does his body know what stones do to bodies? He's seen stonings before.
Right.
I'm still going to say it. That's a level to reach on.
That's right.
That's a level to reach on, brother. Peter didn't have that. But he learned from it, though. You understand? And we had to learn from it, too. Master that flesh. You get the point? Good. Now, Romans. Don't make me forget. Come on, Barack. Bring it home. Here's the ball. Tweet! Hand it off to Barack. He gets 10. He's at the 5.
The book of Romans.
Lightning. Go ahead.
The book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 16.
So
then it is not of him that willeth.
It's not of him that willeth. Go ahead.
Nor of him that runneth. But of God that showeth mercy.
Right? It's not of him that willeth or of him that runneth. Once again, the comparison is the Lord that showed mercy.
So this is a precept for when the sister went to Yahushua and was saying, let my son sit on your right hand and on your left.
If this is a precept for that?
And when he said, well, it's not mine to give.
You had to pull it because I think he said, you don't want this cup. I think he told her that. I think he told her, you don't want this cup. Nevertheless, here, have it.
Right.
I think that's what he told her. You get the point? I think those two boys was one of the 12. I think they died too in the truth. I think they got their heads cut off or something like that.
So look, is that verse 16? Is that like when it says of God that showeth mercy? Is that like glorifying the Most High?
How did David become king? You have to know the story to understand what I'm talking about. Arawadia, how did David become king?
overtaking Saul?
He couldn't overtake Saul. At the time David was anointed, he was a boy. He was Saul's armor bearer. He couldn't even swing a sword. He was king then. Who? Warren?
The Lord chose him.
Which is what?
Mercy.
Out of everybody.
Right.
He chose David. David was Jesse's last son.
God.
Jesse had like, I think 4 or 5 other boys who was, they said, I think 1 or 2 of them was big and strong in nature. And of course, you know, the scripture says Saul was a big guy too. Saul was huge. When Samuel went to Jesse, Jesse said, oh, you come to anoint, this is the one you want. Samuel looked at him and said, anybody know what Samuel said?
I think Samuel was impressed, but that's not who the Lord wanted.
He wasn't impressed. Samuel said, the Lord does not look at a man's stature,
God.
but he looks at what's in a man's heart.
God.
This is not the one. Then Jesse went down the line, and there was the last of the older boys that Jesse thought was worthy.
Right.
He said, well, that's it. Samuel said, nah, there had to be one more. The Lord sent me here for one.
Right.
And I'll know him when I see him.
God.
Jesse said, nah, that's it. Unless you're talking about David, can't be talking about David. And then they sent for David,
God.
who was a boy. And when they sent for him, David walked in the room and said what? I'm paraphrasing a lot though, but you could go and read it. David said, what have I done now?
God.
What is that telling you about David?
He was like, I wouldn't say troublemaker. But
Yes, that's the word.
Oh, okay, God.
He was always in trouble.
God.
He was always fucking up.
Right.
And he was a boy.
God.
He would be somebody you wouldn't let, you know, people say, I wouldn't even let you watch my dog.
Yeah, God.
I wouldn't even let you watch my dog. But David was what? Watching the sheep.
God.
And David was fighting bears and lions for one sheep. Not for the herd.
Right.
For one.
God.
The Lord said, you are my king. I'm choosing you this day.
God.
Mercy. Because I could have chose anybody. I'm choosing you. It's not of him that willeth or of him that runneth. It's the Lord that shows mercy.
God.
You understand? End all and be all of competition. Do whatever the fuck you want to do. If the Lord don't choose you, nigga, you're going to cry like Esau.
Right.
And you're going to hate the Lord. Because competition, the spirit of that type of competition you're talking about is pride. It's thinking, I can do it. I can do it. I can get strong and I can do it. I can just recite. You know, I don't need no book. I don't need no precept thing. I just up there, just going. Look what I did. Look what I did. The Lord knows he can't use you.
God.
You understand? Go ahead.
Matthew chapter 20, verse 20. Then came to him the mother of Zebedee's children with her sons, worshiping him and desiring a certain thing of him. And he said unto her, what wilt thou? She said unto him, grant that these my two sons may sit, the one on the right hand and the other on the left hand in thy kingdom. But Yahushua answered and said, ye know not what ye ask. Are ye able to drink of the cup that I shall drink of, and to be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with?
Right.
They said unto him, we are able. And he said unto them, ye shall drink indeed of my cup, and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with. But to sit on my right hand and on my left is not mine to give, but it shall be given to them for whom it is prepared of my Father.
Right? So now it's saying, you could sit there if you want to. You could partake of this cup if you want to. But the Lord, he already chose. You know, everybody's already chosen. It's chosen, whatever. You get the point? Now, it's prepared for you. You know what I mean? Let me don't say it like that, because it might, somebody who's weak in faith might say, well, the Lord ain't choose me. That's why I'm weak in faith. That's, again, you gotta watch what you're saying. That's not what it's saying. Okay, that position, that's how he said it there. He's saying, I don't control that. That's the Lord. But if you want to drink of this cup, and if you want to get there, you're gonna have to drink of this cup. You're not gonna get there just like that. You're gonna have to put in some work for it.
Right.
Just like David was anointed king. But if David didn't go there and kill Goliath, brother, we would all be Hamites today. And when I say Hamites, not bloodline, but we would be plate in the lip Israelites.
Right.
You understand? We would be going down there in Ghana, talking to them and, teaching them, Shalom, or they teaching us Shalom or whatever. David still had to go do something. You get the point? Even though the Lord put him there and chose him.
Right.
You understand? So that one, he's telling her, you didn't know what you're asking for. This time here, you asking for death. You understand? Think about all the men who rode with him. Damn near everybody got killed.
Right.
Damn near everybody. I think Peter got beheaded afterwards, and James by Nero Caesar. It tells you that later on in the scripture in Acts or the book after Acts, they got killed. They got killed later on. To ask to follow him then is this is end in one way. I hope you know that.
Right.
That's the Lord. That's the Lord, brother. All right. Who wants the distinct pleasure? Because I come up here. Give me read the cover, the name of the book, and hold page 28. All right. Nice and low.
An introduction to medieval Europe.
This is right there in what you're asking for. Right? 300 to 1500. All right.
Sir.
Read page 28, start at the middle paragraph.
Opinions differ as to whether Jesus believed himself to be the Messiah.
Now, this here is not biblical truth. This is an historian. What the hell is this? This is an historian. All right. Hold on. Right. This is an historian. Right. And he is giving you a record of the time.
Right.
All right. This is medieval Europe. All right. But he's giving you from, I forget the timeline. Go ahead.
300 to 1500.
I believe that's what he's covering. But he has to go back before that to show you the history of Europe with the religions of Christianity.
Right.
So now he's telling you, go ahead.
Opinions differ as to whether Jesus believed himself to be the Messiah.
Skip up to where it says, yet it was to be established.
Yet it was to be established only after a day of reckoning, when those who
skip up, find the beginning of the sentence before, because it's probably on page 27.
Moreover, he was convinced that this new day was about to dawn.
This is Yahushua. He's telling you Yahushua was convinced that there was coming a new day in Rome. Right? In Jerusalem, not in Rome, but in Jerusalem, because Jerusalem was under Roman occupation. Similar to like what's going on now. With the National Guard and the militarized police all over your neighborhoods.
Right.
That's occupation. Meaning when I come outside and see you, it's like you have beef with somebody and their car's parked outside all the time. You gotta go through the back door. But there's a guard at the back door too.
Right.
It's to make you be in a certain psychological state. Go ahead.
And that it was his duty to announce the gospel, the good news of the speedy coming of the kingdom of God.
Right. It was his duty to announce the gospel. What is the gospel? The good news. That's what gospel literally means. Good news. All right, go ahead.
Yet it was to be established only after a day of reckoning.
That would only come once a certain time come, a day of reckoning, meaning what? A day of judgment.
Right.
All right, go ahead.
When those who were judged worthy to become citizens of the new kingdom were to be separated from those judged unworthy.
This is a historical account of Christ, not biblical.
Right.
Historical. Right? Meaning he was going to there was going to be a separation in this new kingdom Christ was on the streets talking about in Jerusalem.
Right.
Go ahead.
His message was therefore repent, for the kingdom of God is at hand.
That's in the Bible. You understand? That was his message. Go ahead.
It was a message meant especially for Jews.
Say it again.
It was a message meant especially for Jews.
Say so Amari Stoudemire could hear with his big 7 for that.
It was a message meant especially for Jews.
This is a historical record of Yahushua. Go ahead.
There is no adequate reason to suppose that he thought of a Gentile mission.
Ooh-wee. There's no reason to even think that Christ thought about going to these heathens.
Right.
Why? Why would you think that? Then this is a historical book. Go ahead.
Still less of a Gentile Christianity divorced from Judaism.
Right, and even less, there's no reason to think of a Gentile Christianity divorced from Judaism. Meaning what? Who knows what that translates to? There's no reason to think he had a Gentile mission, and even less of a Gentile Christianity divorced from Judaism. 1 second.
There's no reason for him to believe it. There's no reason to think that he was trying to teach the heathen or even spread a religion that teaches the heathen.
What's that religion called?
Christianity.
Right. This is a history. That's why I wanted to listen. I want to let him read. When you listen to what he's saying historically there's no evidence that Christ even talk about this Christian religion they worship in today.
Right.
Because he's giving a backdrop for medieval Europe. Go ahead.
Opinions differ as to whether Jesus believed himself to be the Messiah who was to deliver his people.
Right. That's now he as he going through, he's like, well, this man never say he is the Messiah.
Right.
You get the point? But he knew he was from what we see in here, the biblical records. You get the point? He taught about the reincarnation. Why would Solomon say to his Lord, my Lord, sit here? He knew it.
Right.
But of course, he going by what the record. No, he ain't going from the biblical standpoint. This is a historical research.
Right.
If anybody asking you, Christ never exists, I'm about to read you his warrant right here. He had that warrant he had. I'm about to read it to you right from this book. Go ahead.
The agent of God in establishing the new kingdom. But many of his immediate followers took him for the Jewish Messiah.
Right.
Thus, when at Jerusalem, he was...
Right, so he didn't say he was the one, but everybody knew he was the one. Right, and because of that, go ahead.
Thus, when at Jerusalem, he was first publicly proclaimed as the inaugurator of the expected new era.
Right, and because of that, in Jerusalem, he was talked about in the streets like this nigga is the beginning, the inaugurator of a new era.
Right.
He is the beginning of a whole new day.
Right.
A new time. When will the end come? When will the end of this world come and the beginning of it that followeth?
Right.
When will oppression stop? When will police brutality stop? When would we get to be on top and they at the bottom?
Right.
When will that time come? That was on the streets of Jerusalem.
Right.
And they said he is the man to start it. You get the point? You want change? Man, you gotta go listen to that man Christ. Who, that boy from Nazareth? Yeah, you go check him, man. He crazy. Go check him out, man. That's the man.
Right.
He gonna start this new era. Go ahead.
It was inevitable that he should be looked upon.
And because of that, it was inevitable, meaning there was no preventing it.
Right.
It had to happen that he would be looked upon. Go ahead.
By the authorities.
By the authorities of that day. Who's the authorities of that day?
The Romans.
The Romans. The Roman government.
Right.
They looked at Christ because he had such a powerful movement.
Right.
And it says movement down here. So when you hear about Black Lives Matter movement and this movement, Christ was not a religious fanatic.
Right.
He was not a religious nut. When I say he wasn't like T.D. Jakes and Creflo. This brother here was
upon by the authorities as a danger.
As a what?
As a danger.
As a what?
As a danger.
For anybody who think Jesus is love, kissy, kissy. As a what?
As a dangerous.
Go ahead.
And fanatical revolutionist.
Brother, that's how the Roman government saw Christ. As enemy of the state. He wasn't huggy, kissy, kissy. I come for everybody.
Right.
God loves everybody. He was a dangerous and a fanatical revolutionary.
Right.
This man come to turn things upside down, and he ain't no punk.
That's right.
We got to do something about this. Keep reading.
about to disrupt the well-established order.
Wait, say that again.
About to disrupt.
They said Christ was about to tear up, to disrupt the what?
The well-established order.
Well-established order. We have our country.
Right.
Make America great again. Y'all hear the illegal immigrants? There's more of you than us. Welfare. Christ is coming to disrupt their well-established order. Go ahead.
Of things. He was consequently arrested.
Right. They said he had come to disrupt their fine working country.
Right.
And because of that, he was what?
He was consequently arrested.
He was arrested because he was a threat to the way of life of Rome.
Right.
Just like UPK is a threat to the way of life of America.
That's right.
That's why they had to make Nick Cannon apologize.
That's right.
That's why Amari Stoudemire sitting down there big as can be and full of punk, full of pussy.
Right.
Because he can't say the white man is the devil. Deshaun Jackson, me personally, I give him a little mercy. He just finding out. I gave him some more time. He don't seem like no punk to me. He seems like he just buckled under the first set of pressure he gets. But Amari Stoudemire claims to be Jewish. And Nick Cannon, he wearing a turban for the last 4 years. He think he's, I don't know what he think he is, but he think he woke.
Right.
That nigga been woke for 2 days and went back to sleep. He's like, yeah, they savages, the Jews are black. Oh, sorry. Give me some more blankets.
Right,
give me some more cover. He realized being awake, being woke was too rough. Being woke was too hard. I need to go back to sleep.
Right.
Fuck all this woke talk. I'm sorry, Rabbi. The rabbi, listen, the rabbi said on the tape, he believes the only people who have the right to say the rest of the world was evil and nobody cares is Jewish people.
Right.
I was going to jail if I was in the car. I was slapping.
Yeah, come on, cuz.
I slapped the yarmulke off his damn head.
Yeah, cuz.
What you mean? So wait. So George Floyd's daughter don't have the right to say the world is evil.
Right.
Go ahead.
Sorry, sir. He can't wear that because he represents the Moors, but not the Moor Science Temple. That's why he wear that shit on.
He wear that because he's trying to be apologetic. He's wearing that because the Moors will accept it and the Jewish people will accept it.
Right.
The woke people will accept it. He's doing what Jewish people always do. Right. Jewish people are also merchants like the Arabs, but not as low class.
Right.
They're business people, which means if they go into selling the hood, they'll wear Jordans.
Yep.
You get the point?
Yes,
if they're going uptown, they're going to wear them ugly black shoes they wear with them black coats. You get the point? If they go into the Arabs, they'll come and say, listen, we from the Middle East. We share common history. We both believe in the Torah.
Right.
5 books of Musa. They, you know what I mean? They'll talk like the Arab.
Right.
Because they want the Arab to buy this from them.
Right.
Nick is doing the same thing. He's apologetic. He's an apologist. He's a pacifist.
Right.
You get the point? He has to be smooth. He can't be separate and rough. He can't be elite.
Right.
He can't be, it's like whoever been in Esau military. There's the SEALs and the Marines is not the USMC. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can't. Oh, you in the military? No.
Right. No.
I'm a Marine. Or if you're a SEAL, to pull up the tattoo.
Yeah.
No. Because we not want. He want to be everybody.
Right.
You get the point? He's an apologist. Go ahead.
I was gonna say he can't be a radical revolutionist.
He cannot be a dangerous, fanatical revolutionary.
That's right.
He can't be that.
Right.
That's too rough.
Right.
Right? Keep reading.
He was consequently arrested and crucified.
He was arrested and killed. That's historical reference.
Right.
Read it again.
He was consequently arrested and crucified.
Keep going.
The movement.
The what?
The movement.
The what?
The movement.
That's how they haven't done historically.
Right.
As leading a movement.
Right.
You know how much people you are following you to lead a movement?
Right.
Yet they say what? The Jews rejected Christ?
Yeah.
No, dummy.
Right.
Creflo rejected Christ.
Right.
Nick Cannon rejected Christ. Amari Stoudemire rejected Christ. There was a movement that did not die when he was crucified.
Right.
That's how you know his work was sealed by the Lord.
That's right.
You can't kill the movement.
That's right.
You understand?
Okay.
But if you're an athlete and you pull a muscle, your race is over.
Right.
Ain't nobody else left to run the race.
That's right.
Keep going.
Okay. The movement behind him did not die with him.
Mm-hmm.
His followers continued to believe, despite the fact that he had died without having undertaken to assume the role of the deliverer.
Why his followers continue to believe?
If I may, sir, because Christ prophesied this will happen. It was prophesied that this had to happen.
And he told them when he returns, what will happen?
That's when he established his kingdom.
Specifically, when will these things be? Rumors of wars, earthquakes, famine in diverse places, nation against. He told them when he's going to restore the kingdom.
Right.
He told them, so they marched on.
Right.
Like we're marching today. The scripture
right.
says, Christ told them, occupy till I come.
That's right.
That's a movement, huh? You lead men out there to protest and march on the nation. They take you in. Hey, what do we do while you're gone? Stay here till I get back.
Right.
That's what we do. Amari Stoudemire couldn't do it.
Right.
Nick Cannon couldn't do it for 2 days.
Right.
2 days here. Y'all can have this planet. He ready to give up the whole earth. Brother, you know there's some badass bros on this earth. He giving up. Pussy. From a little pressure?
Right.
Just a little pressure. Y'all all hate me. My people turned on me. He said, I offended the Jewish community to the core, but my people turned on me.
Yeah.
Nigga, I'm offended to the core. I was offended 5 years ago when they put that kufi in your head and came to DC.
Right.
And act like he was some dumb Goya Hebrew Israelites. I was deeply offended and I cursed you unto nigh hell. And if I see you again today, I'm going to curse you unto your goddamn way. And take the check-in later. You get the point? They don't occupy until he comes. We are.
Right.
So now, the scripture you pull, the mother, when she bring that, he's like, you don't know what you're asking for.
Right.
Because at the day, Christ was not Creflo. He wasn't Joel Osteen. He was a dangerous, fanatical revolutionary. Think about today, how you would hear about him. This lunatic called, what's his name? Jesus? You know, they like to fuck up your name when they're ready to criminalize it. Jesus Christ. Yeah, he's on the streets talking all this, but he has a massive following. Yes, Carol, we're operating live here from Jerusalem. He is a ridiculous man. Yeah. He says in one of his speeches, bring them hither and slay them before me. Right. What kind of man is that?
Right.
They start already. He's a person of interest. He's highly wanted, highly sought after. And then he's arrested and they kill him. And then we go to camp.
Right.
Harder. Stronger.
That's right.
And the white man is the devil.
That's right.
Somebody, sir, Christ was a threat to Roman national security.
Give him a hand.
Yeah, right.
Now you see why I treated the Quran like toilet paper last week. Listen, you're not going to disrespect the king. I'm trying to tell you.
That's right.
You're not going to listen. Farrakhan is not even on his level. You understand?
Right.
And to the average Negro, Farrakhan is a dangerous, fanatical revolutionary.
Right.
And Farrakhan is not on his level.
Right. Okay. Is the precept where he says, if you don't have a sword, sell your garment and buy one?
Why do you think he said that?
Because it was a lot of people that were against him and wanted to kill him.
Not a lot of people that were against him.
He was a fanatical, dangerous revolution.
The Roman government was against him. That's different from a lot of people. A lot of people is against the UPK. You think we give a damn?
Right.
No. But if there's now the government, this is a terrorist group here. We want to eradicate them. We want to get them out. That's different, Doc.
Right.
That's you oil that thing? All right. You understand? Because we are not criminals.
Right.
We're not criminals and you're seeking to take my life.
God.
So if you're going to take my life, you're really going to have to take it. I ain't giving it to you.
That's right.
That's what Christ was saying.
God.
Don't let them take your life.
God.
Which is why when the centurion came, Peter struck.
Yeah.
That's what he trained Peter to do.
God.
Peter was not to order. But in the spirit, Peter didn't know that was the time for that to happen. And remember, Peter loved this brother.
Right.
Peter loved him. Peter, that's his right-hand man. Peter struck. And Christ cursed him not because he was out of order, but he would put a demon on Yahawashi to not give himself over. You understand? And that's his right hand man. He doing what he's supposed to do, but it's like it was so easy then. Now think about it. Peter cut the ear off the centurion. He didn't swing wild and all that.
Right.
He did it as a warning, like, nigga, I'll you up.
Right.
It was so easy. Christ could have said, you know what? You understand? Remember, he just come from fasting because he don't want to go die. He said, Lord, if it be your will, let this cup pass from me. The cup. The same cup. He's like, I'm good, nigga. I've seen them crucify people. Right. I'm straight. Yet, if yet let your will be done. Right. He voluntarily went and got crucified. Dragged through the streets. He voluntarily went and get the knee on his neck, George Floyd. Blown away like Tamir Rice. Shot down like Trayvon. He voluntarily went into lynching. Right. You want to talk shit? Fuck your Quran and Allah.
That's right.
That's how I feel. If you don't want to understand why I flipped the hell out, I don't give a damn.
That's right.
All right? I don't give a damn.
That's right.
All right? I don't love everybody and I'm not apologizing.
That's right.
So like I'm coming to you, bro.
Is that instance coming from, is our protocol what General Thumb was talking about coming from that instance?
What do you mean?
Like the way he told us that no one could just walk up on us? Was that coming from?
Okay, that's the protocol from since Yahawashi. Remember the woman they was blocking children. Remember the children came to Yahawashi. It's like nah, right? Because they know the Romans trying to kill him. Right. He was a dangerous and fanatical revolutionary. Right. Right. Who coming close? Right. What? Nah. That shit can't happen. You understand?
No, I was gonna say when he asked about the scripture, on why he said that, because like Christ, like I just said, it was dangerous and all that. Christ understood like it was warfare. Like this is warfare.
It's life is about warfare.
That's right.
And nothing else. This is not Boy Scouts handing out cookies. Go ahead, do your thing. Now, this is not the Boy Scouts handing out cookies. This is not that type of job. This is not where we're loved. Right. Nobody trying to kill Joel Osteen. Right. Nobody trying to kill Creflo. Nobody trying to kill, even Farrakhan. Farrakhan had to give up the white man as the devil. Right. To be loved. Yep. You understand? He had to compromise because Gaddafi died. And they think we don't know. Gaddafi's dead. So now you had to go up under L. Ron Hubbard, the father of Scientology. Right. You understand? Because you need some of that money.
God, sir.
You get the point?
God.
It's this. We're in two different leagues. God. And if you had something to say about this league, I'm gonna just show you how small your league is.
That's right.
At whatever cost. You understand? You want to ask questions, fine. You want to do your thing. So what?
That's right.
But I ain't gonna just sit there and just let you, question the most dangerous fanatical revolutionary in the history of Rome.
Sir.
You understand? Come on now.
So like if I may, sir, this is how you know the I.S.U.P.K. under Commanding General Yohanna is the truth. Because that is what everybody says, even within the Israelite community. That's what they always say about us. We are too radical, too militant, go too hard, too aggressive, too angry, too hateful. And it's like we reading, well, goddamn, this was how the Romans, was how Christ was.
Right.
This is exactly the spirit of Christ. And we operate in the same way our King operated.
That's it. And listen, if you think we're too extreme, we're too hard, I'm going to end it right there. I know we have some questions. So, you're going to get them questions tomorrow. Go watch Commanding General Yohanna tonight. I think it should be live in a second on Black Watch. The name of the channel is, you can type in I.S.U.P.K. Black Watch on YouTube. Commanding General Yohanna live on YouTube. I ain't hearing up yet, so I might be able to get a question. But you go look at it. He's about to give you the plan to survive the next year in America because, brother, winter is coming. And they say that Game of Thrones, winter is coming, brother. And if you don't listen to this dangerous and fanatical revolutionary, like our King Yahawashi, you are going to perish in the winter. That's what I can tell you. Right. Stay tuned. I'm going to let you all know when it's up. You all go subscribe to that channel right now. All right. Commanding General Yohanna. Hold on. Just in case you all don't know what it looked like. Is it steady there on the screen?
Yep, Kawakashi.
All right, that's the channel. Go subscribe, hit that bell. You're going to be live in a second, giving you the plan to not, melt.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Not wither away. Let me get some of them questions. So you good on the competition? You understand it? It's competition. It comes from pride and comes from ambition. When I was young, in the truth, I asked the general a similar question, and he said ambition is a satanic thing to have in you, in the truth. You understand it? And it's hard to understand when you're young because you think you should be ambitious to get work done. What you should have is zeal to complete your orders. Ambition is, one day I want to do that. I want that job. You get the point? That's what creates the competition. It's just like you want to one day be CEO, CFO, Chief Financial Officer, or whatever.
Right.
You understand? It's ambition could be satanic for you,
right? In
the truth, because you're not following orders as unto the Lord. That's in Colossians 3:23.
Right.
You understand? Do everything as unto the Lord and not for man.
Oh God.
With that ambition in you and that competition, you want to sit in a seat the Lord don't want you to sit in.
Right.
You understand? Just like if the Lord wants you to sit in that seat, there's no way you're not going to sit in it. Jonah. You understand? Jonah didn't want to go sit in that seat. The Lord said, all right, no sweat, I got you. You're no sweat, man. Right. How you like swimming? Now Jonah ready to sit in his seat. Just like the Lord may not want you in that seat. Right. And your ambition turned you into Judas. You was ambitious. You, after a while, your house I can't lead. What is he talking about? Right. Oil, and he was just a jealous motherfucker. Let's say jealous, conniving, full of ambition, love money, right? Disgusting, greedy ass nigga. That's all he was. And Christ knew it, and Christ, he ain't said nobody to beat him or something. He's like, ain't no sweat. You're gonna die anyway. And just killed himself. You understand? Like, there's nothing you can do to force the Lord's hand in that spirit of competition. Right. But it could force the Lord's hand to notice your zeal. Right. And notice your honor. And notice your integrity and your brotherhood. He could take a note of it. You understand? He could do that like he did with our forefather Jacob. He saw Jacob's zeal for the blessing and how much Jacob valued a blessing from the Lord that he was willing to get beaten by an angel. You understand? Right. You know how to say he fought with the angel? The angel had to break his hip. Meaning he had to fuck him up a little bit. Right. And he was still pressed, he wasn't giving up. Right. The Lord was impressed with it. And he decided to give it. It lets you know the stock we come from, the type of people we come from. That's and right. You could push the Lord in that respect. Jacob wasn't competing with nobody else, right. But he wanted something from the Lord. Right. In here, that ambition, that competition, it could turn you into a satanic person. And you will destroy everything to sit somewhere. You know what I mean? Let me get some of the questions before the general.
Lord Rain said, Captain, your thoughts on the NFAC march in Kentucky?
Who?
The NFAC march, sir.
Who the hell is it?
That's the those so-called militant cats who they did the march down in Stone Mountain, Georgia, at the KKK home, and they the ones with the rifles marching in all black, and I guess they doing a march in Kentucky.
Okay, none of that shit gonna work. If they're not marching with or behind Commander John YAHANNA, it's not going to work. If you ask him what I think about it, it's not going to work. It might look good, it might look pretty, it might look strong, but it's not going to work. Right. That's all I could tell you. I don't know too much about them or who they are. NFAC. That sounds like some Eastern Conference. The NFC. Yeah, I mean that sounds like some kind of Eastern Conference something.
Right. Along with that question, I just saw article that it was saying that everyone that was out there, they had pinned them all with felony charges as well.
I mean, that's what they're doing now to try to they have a bigger plan. With felony charges, it takes away a certain amount of privileges from you if you get convicted of those charges. Right. So now they have a plan for what they want to do. I don't really care about that having a felony is, is whatever.
Right.
But what they're trying to do, march and take over with guns?
Yeah, that's a show of force.
A show of force. Okay, this is a show of force. I will not marry white women.
That's right.
If you're a woman, I'll not marry white men.
Right.
I'll not deal with heathens. That's a show of force.
God.
A show of force is I'll go 10 extra miles and pay $5 extra for a plate of food than go to the Chinese restaurant around the corner and pays $5.99.
Right.
That's a show of force.
Right.
A show of force is no justice, no peace. Justice for George. What are you doing here? Get out. Get out. Get out of the march. No white people allowed.
Right.
That's a show of force. I don't know what he's doing. You get the point?
Oh, God.
Salakia, how could I give them the glory? Forgive me. A show of force. We're the Israelite School of UPK and the Command General YAHANNA 1001 West 125th Street.
That's right.
Harlem, New York, since 1969, we've been teaching the truth. The white man is the devil.
That's
a show of force.
That's right.
The camp start.
Oh,
That's a show of force.
oh,
You get me? What he's doing there is what? Ambition. It's ambition.
Right.
What he's doing there is driven by ambition. You did not get yourself. Okay, you did. We did not put ourselves in captivity.
Right.
We can't take ourselves out.
Oh, God.
The Lord put us in here.
Right.
The Lord has to take us out. We did something for him to put us in.
Right.
You have to do something for him to take us out. Whatever they're doing, if it's not ordered from Command General YAHANNA, brother, Lord forbid, but they're going to perish.
Right.
That's just it. They're going to perish because of bad leadership. Any more? Go ahead.
If I may, sir, you don't hear about. I read the comments on their march. Esau was mocking these cats, but when we go and get a boot kiss, it goes viral. This is black supremacy. I read a comment. Some devil said, I'm no longer protesting with black people. I'm not being an ally because it's clear that black people only want supremacy. I screenshotted this.
Yes.
It's clear black people only want supremacy.
No, we want equality.
That's
in
right.
order for us to be equal,
Right.
I have to rule now.
God.
How could we be equal and you rule for 400 years and
Right.
now we the same? For us to be the same,
Right.
I have to be supreme.
That's right.
Yes. And another comment, the cop got fired. He said, it's like they have their own God.
Yeah, concept.
That's what I want.
God.
That's, so this cat is misguided. He don't know what he's doing. He's definitely fed up. You know what I mean? If he's not working with them.
Right.
However, that's going to fail.
Right.
And if they continue, people are going to perish because of him.
Right.
Or whoever is the leadership. Let me get the last one. Let me go.
Oh, God, sir. Matthew 15:24, that's his name.
Uh-huh.
He said, if your rib wants to leave because you have another wife, do I divorce the one who wants to leave?
It sounds like you want to leave. That's what it sounds like. Anytime you have to, with experience, you'll know people choose certain words even subconsciously to reflect what's really on their mind. All right? If you didn't want to divorce the first one, you would have said, I have 2 wives. The first one wants to leave. What do I do? You would not have even thrown divorce in there.
Right.
What it sounds like to me, because of your wording, is that you're probably fed up with this first one. That's probably why you got the second one. And you probably are throwing it in the face and first one that the second one is so much better. And she want to roll, and you saying, what do I do? Do I divorce her?
Right.
So what are you going to do with the second one? If the third one comes along, you divorce the second one? Having multiple wives is absolutely lawful. What you need to do is come into the I.S.U.P.K. and get strong.
That's right.
Right? Multiple wives is not for every single man. You may not be the type of brother who can have multiple women. I don't know. But divorce is unlawful. You cannot divorce them. In fact, give me the scripture. Let's get that last one. If a man have 2 wives, you could pass the book back out. 2 wives.
God, sir.
Just in case you walk out the door. We have some bullets coming through. There's some more bullets coming through. Big up General Haas for definitely bringing back that spirit of it. We have some more stuff. And when you hear us speak on the street, just know that it's proper research went into everything.
Right.
All right. What do I want? Exodus 21 and 10. Exodus 21 and 10.
It's Exodus 21 and 10. If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage, shall he not diminish?
That's a law. If a man taketh another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall not diminish. Meaning what? You can't now say when you have two women, so the fridge had to be half, half full now. You get the point? And the duty of marriage, which is sex, that can't stop. With that passing class over the priest, I'd offer some the question.
Security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K. out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, and the Commander General YAHANNA. New rules for brothers and sisters. For new brother or sister coming into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an